Hello, welcome to Forever Synth. I'm Rob, and this is my co-host.
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Hello, Rob. Over there. I'm Joe, and we are here with Hot Minute, and we just give you a chance to introduce each and every one of you. If you could just say what you bring to Hot Minute, take it in turns.
I guess I'll go first. I'm Keely. I am the singer. I write the lyrics and melodies, and I do all of the administration.
Nice. Okay.
I'm Bella. I play guitar. I also do like all the artwork stuff and the graphics and all that kind of
Very
stuff.
nice.
Wow. Okay, you got the whole shebang here. Courtney. Was Courtney muted?
Uh-oh, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Courtney.
Well, I might try and turned on because ours wasn't turned on straight away.
Yeah.
Am I here now?
Yeah!
Hey, the party started.
Excellent.
Anyway, I'll say what I do. Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm the synth player / producer kind of thingy. Tried to produce.
You do very well. What are you talking about?
That's pretty much all I do.
Hey, that's very modest. All you do, it's all, you know. You're a tripod. If one of your legs breaks, you all fall. You're as important as one another.
Well, thanks so much. Normally we have a radio show, but our studio, Riverside Radio, has been shut during this whole COVID crisis. So we've been trying to piece together, haven't we, Joe? A couple of 2 or 3 episodes. It's a lot of work for you in particular.
I'm glad you brought that up because yes, it is a lot of work for me, and I just wanted to make sure that people know I do about 70% of it. no. Without Rob, there would be no Forever Synth. So I owe a lot to this guy, and I owe a lot to this guy for making this happen because this is a stretch out into the unknown for us. This is our first time, so yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So Rob, I'll let you ask the first question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, look, what caught my attention to you guys, and you're quite new on the scene, I understand, was the single Drive. You've had a couple of more hits before that, and really, I just wanted to get to know you during this Zoom meetup crazy thing that we're doing. Like, how did you meet? How did you come together? Were you making music together before you discovered synthwave? Come on, who are you? One of you works in a hospital, don't you?
No, she doesn't work in a hospital. She's a key worker.
A key worker, sorry. My mistake.
Yeah.
Goes there for you. So who are you, first of all?
Who wants to introduce us?
Well, you can go first. You're talking.
With me and Courtney. Me and Courtney met through school. My other best friend. I only have about 4 friends.
That's all you need. That is all you need in this day and age. Trust me. Yeah.
Stones. My friend introduced me and Courtney when we were 11.
That's a long time.
2 years ago.
We were doing music, and I think it's just spiraled from then. We didn't start synth music until we were about 16. But ever since we've been about 16, it's all been about synth. Yeah. Bella came a lot after because we used to be we had a different band when we were young and foolish.
We want to hear everything.
Bella's already a friend. She
I
was
was in the friend group, but I was in a different group, and I did like rockier stuff. And when that sort of dispersed, and your thing at the moment was...
We kind of hit like a plateau.
Yeah, we both did it at the same time, so we thought it was kind of natural to just
try.
Yeah.
Was there an initiation for you when you joined them? Did you have to do something really cool and dirty just to be invited?
Dye a hair block and get a fringe.
Oh yeah.
Oh right, okay. Oh yeah, 3 of you. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Scientists can't tell the difference.
So how did the and then the threesome was made? How did that? I missed a bit of it.
Well, we were already, me and Bella and Courtney have been friends just outside of our band, just in a group of our friends for a few years.
Yeah.
And then when we naturally came to a bit of a creative rut where we felt like we'd done all we can with what we were doing. And Bella's band at the time, unbeknownst to us, had also kind of evened out and dissipated. And we were just sat around thinking like, right, we do synth, but we only do synth. Like, what do we have? Some guitar. And the only person I knew who was a girl, we like to keep it girl, was Bella.
It was me.
And then it was like, we were really nervous. We were already best friends. We were sat there like, do we ask her? And then we asked her.
Yeah.
I didn't think they wanted me. I thought they were just asking because they had to. And I was like, oh my God, do they actually want me?
That's funny, bless you.
This sounds a little bit like the setup of how U2 formed. Have you seen the film Killing Bono by any chance?
Yes.
It's quite similar in that sort of term, yeah.
It's a great, yeah, exactly. It just kind of happened. We spent so long trying to force things that when we kind of gave up on that, it naturally just kind of fell into place on its own.
Okay.
Why?
So,
sorry, Joe, you go ahead.
well, I was actually going to ask, obviously, where you mentioned earlier being sort of new to a scene, you've kind of already answered it. I was actually going to ask, has it been quite difficult? Because, of course, the scene's kind of changed quite a bit in the last couple of years in terms of where it's going. It's kind of got a more 90s sound. But your sound is already sort of echoing that of people that have recognised that the sound has changed. And you've made sure that your sound is kind of being picked up by that sort of wave, rather than just sort of putting a load of retro-y, neon computer sounds together like a lot of new artists do in their first project. You guys have gone straight in and created really catchy, pop-esque tunes. So it's intelligent. I mean, it looks, from where I'm looking, it's quite an intelligent decision. And I think very quickly you'll gain notoriety in that people will like your stuff, because there's a lot of it out there at the moment, and that's what people want to hear.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
That sounds a bit more. I think it actually is. We kind of we went through a few rough phases of, you know, when you're like young and impressionable and you're trying to start and you don't know what you're doing, you just know that you've got to put your best foot forward and try. You listen to people's opinions, and because you're young and you don't know any better, you think people know better than you, and you let them sway you. And we had that for so long, it became to the point where we were like, we started doing this when we were like 13, 14, and we were hitting like 19, 20, and we were like, right, got about 5 years to sort my shit out, like, to get real about it. And then we just like, we're just going to make what we love, which is synth music, which is what we've always done. But I love music, I love rap music, we love band music. It's just the accumulation of everything. And I think we're not trying to, we write synth music, it's what we love, but we're not trying to write in a specific style. It's kind of whatever comes out, and we just kind of hope.
It is what it is, effectively. It just happens. Yeah, it's good. Oh, wicked. I just want to stop you there very quickly. Did you say rap music?
Yeah.
What the hell? That's just. Can we end the chat here, Rob?
Our relationship's over.
I'm an appreciator of all art forms.
Very good.
I'm obviously a bit of a Philistine, I guess. So yeah.
You make music. You can take things from anywhere. Just a cool a lot of like the When the Weeknd did all that stuff with Daft Punk. It's very hip hop hi-hats, very hip hop drum.
And even his new album is like it's one of my favourites at the minute, because it's brilliant. Like he's kind of going down a similar route where it's kind of like synthy, and it's like anything with a synth in it, I'm like, ooh, need to listen to that.
Yeah.
And then it like instantly like pricks my ears up, and I love his new album. It's really good.
We find quite a lot, myself and Rob, that we get a lot of submissions from people that say it's synthwave, but really all they've done is in the chorus used like they've done a quick little riff in the chorus or something with a synthesizer, and they use the term synthwave, which can be a little bit frustrating. But you guys definitely fit within the ballpark, 110%. So I'm glad we're having this chat.
It's kind of like, do we call it synthwave for a while, because we're part of the community as people who just enjoy it, but obviously it has its entire aesthetics, it has its entire community. A lot of people produce, it's like if you was to put that label on it and it wasn't, like, shit could get rough.
Yeah.
Get out of it, like, get out.
You're often spoken about in the same sentence as people like Pale Waves. We're also a Manchester group, right? But I don't know too much about Pale Waves, so I'll just say you're my favourite tonight.
Thank you.
You had some things lined up, right? There was maybe a tour, there was some other stuff coming out, and this whole coronavirus kind of put Pale to that. What were the plans for this year, and is there anything that you can spoil?
We have
we had a release planned because we were releasing a new song, but we were going to have a gig for that, but obviously that got cancelled, so we couldn't do that. So we've had to sort of rework it a little bit to fit in with like quarantine, because we still want to release it. Like
there was like a weird period where it all came crashing down so fast, and we were like, shit, like what are we going to do now? We had to sit around and think about how, because we've approached like our first 3 singles kind of in the same algorithm, just because we knew it not necessarily was like the best, but it worked to a certain extent. And then that got entirely turned on its head, and we were like, oh shit,
oh no.
So we've got something planned. We are going to release it.
Why don't you do a sort of was it Radio 1 Lounge All Stars?
Yeah, I'll drop a beat.
That actually brings me on quite nicely to my next question. I was going to ask, are Hot Minute at their kind of, are you most comfortable in a studio mastering, you know, your songs to perfection, or are you the type of people that would much prefer to be out on the stage, which is of course something we don't see a lot of in synthwave, although it is increasing? Are we going to be seeing Hot Minute on the stage, like more than say, you know, releasing material perhaps in the studio?
That's a really good question. That a lot of people, yeah, we've had a bumpy road with live shows.
Have you tried turning the power on?
That old chestnut.
Go to the person who's mixing your gig and you go, these are my DI boxes, and he goes, what?
Oh God.
Yeah. And then there's the old, oh, don't feel bad if you need to ask me for anything. Don't feel bad.
How do you feel bad?
Let me get my list of things I need.
Only purple Skittles, please. All the others chucked straight in the bin. Yeah.
No green ones. But I think, because obviously with the kind of music, like, it's hard to do it live. Like, we saw The Midnight last November, changed my life.
Did everyone? Yeah, I can imagine.
Beautiful. That's all I've ever wanted in life. And I'm like, damn, like, that's how you do it. And I feel like there's a way to do it when you're playing synthwave live.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still learning, and I feel like we'll be learning for a long time. But you know, you've got to learn by getting on the stage. So.
Yeah. And going to some gigs as well, because you will pick up so much. I mean, I can honestly say I haven't been in the scene that long, so I'm very grateful for Forever Synth getting to what it is, because it allows us to kind of go to gigs sometimes on the free or whatever, and we get to actually learn so much about not just what they're doing on stage, but about them and what they put into it. And like I say, you obviously in Manchester, you'll be lucky because you'll get to see some of the bigger acts turning up there. Like you said, The Midnight. I mean, you've got Calax is over in Liverpool, Pretty Glass Folk, who is of course on our team. He is in Bolton. So yeah,
that's new.
Right. So that's it. It's people. I think a lot of people are thinking, "Oh, London's where it's at." No, not necessarily. And I think once all this shit is finished, I think you'll see a heck of a lot going on up north. I mean, you've got the gig in that was supposed to take place in Derby. Derby, was it? The one from with Wolf Club and I think lost. What was it called? Yeah, Outrun the Sun. Outrun the Sun.
Yeah.
So. Go to as many gigs as you can. They'll cost about £2, the same as the price of beer, a pint of beer up in Manchester, you lucky pups. And, you guys,
you talk about a rough road, a bumpy road. Did you guys start your own label up? Did you have some issues with management or horrible blokes?
Well, horrible blokes, yes. Management. I am a third year, currently doing my final year exams. Music business student.
Okay.
When we decided to do this, I started university. So throughout my university, I kind of went to university to study it so we could be a completely separate entity. We're on our own, we're independent, until somebody comes and offers us something which would make us not want to be independent. Because if you've already got the access to everything that somebody could offer you, then there's really no reason to step away.
So yeah, that's great. It's just cutting out the middleman, doing it all yourself. I mean, I think that's everyone's dream, isn't it? Really.
I do the business. I do the record label on all of the uploading, the distribution, and the emails. Bella does all of our Instagram and all the nice pictures, and Courtney does all the tunes.
It's like
So there's 6 legs.
Yeah.
There's 6 legs in this tripod, 6 different aspects that you'll bring. That's nice, very nice.
And that's Hotter Than Hell Records, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anybody else on your label?
We don't. We are just, that's literally just for us.
We know a guy in Bolton that might be. He's very much a collabor as well. He's very good musician. He's very intricate. He's not one that takes his art lightly. So just putting it out there. Bolton's not very far.
No, it's not. Maybe we'll have to expand.
Yeah, get in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Who are you talking about? Jack?
You what? Sorry.
You talking about Pretty Glass Folk or?
Yeah. Jackie's in Bolton, isn't he? So he's literally, a stone's throw away over the what's the moor that keeps setting the light up near Manchester? Can't remember what it's called. He's just over that, isn't he? I think I can't remember.
You're talking about outside of London. It's not great. So what? You're only young things. How come you've been so influenced by the 80s? And like Human League, one of your favourite bands, right?
Oh yeah.
Why that era?
A lot of music outside of synth, just the 80s, like the Smiths and the Cure. Obviously the Cure are a bit synth, but like
yeah.
I think mine and Courtney's, we've kind of, since we were 11, we've been best friends, we've been inseparable, so we've kind of gone down this entire road together. And it's like we started quite far back. It was like Blondie and David Bowie, and then he was like the Human League and Depeche Mode, and then like Cabaret Voltaire, and then that leads into One Thing, and then it's everywhere. And then it was like we loved the 80s for so long, and it was like, why somebody's got to be making this now? And then we found Midnight, and we found Churches, and everything.
And then suddenly this whole world opens up, because it's a lot bigger than it looks from the outside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. Kind of like when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is mint. This is so good." And then it's like when I came to like writing songs, because I kind of like struggled before. Like I've always been able to play it. Like when I got a keyboard, I could just play it straight away. I was like, well, guess I'll play this then. And then after that, it was kind of like that kind of music was like, this is what I was meant to make. Like it just comes naturally to make a synth tune and to make that kind of stuff. So then when I found like it was my dad who was like, do you like Depeche Mode? And I was like, who? And I listened to him and I was like, well, yes, I do. And then like ever since then, it's just kind of like grown and all these influences have come in, and it's just what comes out of me naturally.
I've noticed a lot of talk about Depeche Mode in the last couple of minutes, which is great, because that brings me on to another question. You obviously mentioned in your Spotify bio that sort of your 2 biggest inspirations for your music are Human League and Depeche Mode. And I'm curious to know, obviously, if you were told you had to listen to one of those bands, just their entire discography for the rest of your life, and you couldn't listen to the other one, who would you pick?
Depeche Mode.
Oh wow, that was I thought we were going to debate.
There was one of my first loves, but like I must love Depeche Mode.
And what are their best 3 songs? I my favourite is New Life, one of their earliest tracks.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's my dad's ringtone.
Is it really?
Yeah. We have Big Chris in there. He's in the living room. He's the one to thank for all this. Big Chris. Every time I hear that song, I'm like, oh, that's my dad's tune, that.
It is by far their best. I mean, I think Enjoy the Silence, which is, of course, not an 80s track. It was actually released in early 1990, which is devastating, but, you can...
Silence is like the darker side of it all, which is like my personal favourite.
Okay.
Jesus. Keep that in there.
Yeah,
I enjoy the darker side of it. I think we enjoy the darker side of it a lot. Like
I
songs for driving at night.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason why I'd pick Depeche Mode. Because the Human League is like synth pop bangers for when you're out with your mates.
Yeah.
It's true.
You like the darker side.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Slightly gothic look to you.
We've got like, it's weird to us because our like first collection, when it's like finally in the world, it's quite happy and upbeat, but we wrote those songs years ago. Like the stuff we're working on now, the stuff that we already have that we haven't shown anybody is a lot darker, and we really vibe with it. I think it's like stuff that describes the people that we are now as kind of like as Hot Minute, rather than the people we were prior and when we were figuring out who Hot Minute was. So I think the next lot is going to be the ones that were like, this is the sound that we are.
Intriguing.
Okay.
You guys
so 3 singles in.
Yes.
Wow.
You guys working on an album now?
Well, we're always working on an album.
We've been working on an album since we were 11.
We write constantly all the time. It's just, and even more so now because we've got nothing else to do. I mean, I've got my 3rd year of uni, but you know. But like, we've been writing loads and stuff that's not kind of not cohesive with what we're doing now. It's just like bank it, and then wherever it gets you, all the time.
On my computer, I write a song. It's like album or like EP, whatever.
Right.
We often review albums, and quite often you can actually hear in an album when a track has maybe been brought back from the dead, something that was made years ago, and they just put it in there for kind of making the album 10 tracks because they want to make 10 tracks sort of thing. Would you say that your album is going to have, you know, obvious signs that some of the tracks are kind of older, so it's actually very much all in the same mold?
We're always like updating the songs, like demos we've made ages ago, they'll be completely revamped like months later just because our style has evolved and we've like listened to different things in that time. It's just like the main song is what's going to be taken, but as we grow, obviously, it's going to change.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't leave anything alone. We never know when something's it's a too much
Always tinkering.
Yeah.
And how are you finding lockdown? How are you keeping sane in this insane time? Especially living apart, half the band, a third of the band.
Yeah.
This is the longest we haven't seen each other ever.
It is. It's really weird. Like, yeah. I mean, obviously, because I work in a supermarket, so that's not fun. It's not fun, but obviously, in a way, I am kind of glad that I get to go to work still, even though it's...
Me too, definitely, wholeheartedly agree.
It's kind of like, you know, it just kind of gives you that normality. I've had a week off and I've just been kind of like, oh God, me, time, what do I do?
You've all been doing a very stellar job of maintaining the fringes though during lockdown. So you know, well done. Yeah, they're all very low level.
Few fringes in my time.
What's your daily routine? What's your sanity routine while we're in here? Do you wake up in the morning and write some lyrics down, or?
Well, we've been trying to get up earlier. We used to get up at like the first month. We got up at 3 o'clock every day.
This morning.
Time's not real. I'm just going to sleep in until I'm not tired anymore.
And stay up till 5 a.m. Doesn't matter.
Then you realise that kind of makes you feel like shit. Yeah. So we get up early.
That's just the rock and roll lifestyle, and you know, you're not only are you studying at uni, but you're somehow managing to find time to live the rock and roll lifestyle. Have you trashed up a hotel room yet? Have you trashed?
It might be a shock, but we are the most boring people ever.
Completely. We don't do
that. Not you guys. Who does the Instagram and all the tweets and stuff? Is it?
I am the tweeter.
I'm the Instagrammer.
Yeah, I think, as Joe alluded to, you've got a real style, and it's all very. You know what you're doing, and you don't veer away from that. Is that self-learned?
I have it planned weeks in advance. I'm so obsessed with how pictures look next to each other. My brain's a perfectionist. I'll do the smallest tweaks and I won't be happy until it's chef's kiss.
And I just wait until something annoys me on Twitter and then I sound off about it.
So you're the mouthy one. Yeah. I would say that's probably my thing in our partnership, isn't it, Rob? I would say probably the most outspoken one, but see, if every group's got to have one, I think, muddy the waters a bit, create debate.
Yeah, man, you started this shebang.
Guys, out of curiosity, again, it mentions that you say you have Japanese influence aesthetics, and I was curious to know if any of you have actually been to Japan. Is any of that the reason behind
I think that's
Unfortunately not.
10 years old. I'm still
Yeah.
hoping it'll become a reality. I'm obsessed with Japan and all things Japan. Culture, anime, K-pop, J-pop,
Okay.
dramas, the entire thing. Just Asia in itself is just so interesting to me because the culture is so different.
Yeah.
And the art's so different, but it's still so brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
It's like so advanced in a different way.
And then like Blade Runner aesthetics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
I was there myself a couple of years ago for about 4 months, but I was, well, not stuck. I was a ski instructor on the North Island of Hokkaido. So after that, I never really got to see the real Japan. I did Tokyo and Mount Fiji, the really obvious stuff, but I saw enough to realise that they are different. It is different. Everything about that country, even to I think China and South Korea, which is probably the next best thing. It's entirely different. And again, turn a dream into reality. If you can find the time, you won't regret it. It's absolutely insane.
You're lucky finding a flight at the minute.
Well, yeah.
Not
Not
now.
now.
My entire life, not a chance. But like, I'm hoping that it's just like it's the kind of the bucket list. It's the thing I'm going for. I can't wait, and it's just the kind of like the sounds that we love just seem to go well with the aesthetic of Japan, and it's just an accumulation of everything we love. People might not get it, but it makes us happy, and it's exactly what we want to make. And if you don't like it, that's completely fine. But at least I know you don't like it.
Courtney, how did you get into production?
Well, I think so. When me and Keely kind of started back in the day, it kind of came apparent what our roles were, and I started off making tunes on an iPad, and that came apparent. I was like, oh, I can't keep doing this, so I got Logic, and I got I got a MacBook, and I got Logic, and then I did do music tech at college. I didn't listen. I regret that now. But I kind of just like taught myself, and I've just like now I've got like a full-on little studio set up. I've been redoing my room and making it into like a studio as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Looks it.
Here it is.
Show us. Let's have a look. Oh, very nice.
I wish I could show you. I'm sat in front of it as always. But yeah, I've taught myself on Logic, and obviously like a lot of my production skills are based on how to make a synth pop song sound, as good as it can for us. But I'm still learning, and I've got the basics down. But
You really do.
Yeah.
The 3 singles so far, including Drive, which was one of my top faves, Joe told me, all self-produced, all self-written, just all you guys. Super impressive.
Apart from the actual engineering, all us, yeah.
What's that, sorry?
Yeah.
And apart from the saxophone, that was a man called Josh, who's the most talented.
incredible.
Ah,
Yeah, he's so talented.
He walked in, introduced himself, didn't even have a brew. That's how quick it was.
I know.
Like nobody's business. And then he left. It was like, all right.
It was like it never happened. It was like it was a dream.
It's all
He was
He
over
didn't
and
leave you to it. He didn't want to cramp your style. He knew you had a female trio going on. He was like, I'm going to do
Get
it.
out, quick. I was really chuffed when we got that saxophone in though, because obviously from listening to the new retro wave and the synthwave and stuff, I'd heard the saxophone, and ever since then I was like, I need that. And Drive is the song.
the saxophone.
Yeah,
Yeah. We bigged it up in the episode that we did with New
Was
Arcade.
it Ace with? Oh right, yeah.
And Adam was in, and I was going, I love this, and I love it's got saxophone in it. And it's
saxophone.
no, well done, guys. That's brilliant. In true free Zoom style. And anyway, we don't want it to go too long. We've got a nice chat. We've got about 6 minutes left. What do you want to tell us in 6 minutes that we don't know yet about Hot Minute?
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Interestingly, we have already been discussing that. We're very aware that we haven't put a lot of our personality out, apart from on Twitter, and I know that's me, but it's the views that we all share. We stand for a very...
The hive mind.
Yeah, exactly. We literally are one entity at this point. We're 3 versions of the same people. But we noticed, and it's not something we've done not on purpose. We've been filming the entire first year that we've actually been out in the world, and we're ready to release.
Oh, nice. That's very good idea. I think a lot of people would have wished they'd have done that in their early days, because I think you're going to, well, you will. Let's be honest. You're going to turn it into some sort of biopic, aren't you?
Hopefully.
We have a lot of love for the scene, and we do want to be a part of it. We just wanted to make sure that we were doing the right first.
Again,
so we've got a lot to share about us personally going forward, and the tunes, the tunes and everything, and how more importantly, how we did it, because it's like when you're young and you don't know any better, no one wants to tell you for some reason. So we're just going to be like, this is how we do it. We're going to all ourselves from step one to where we are now. This is everything that we did.
Doing it what you were.
Yeah. Because it takes like 3 more girls who are a little bit younger than us think, we should have a go at that. And it becomes something, then fair enough, that's all I need.
Wow, super cool.
It's almost a bit like, I mean, when I think sort of a female trio, I think of Haim. I don't know if you're fans of that.
Yeah.
Bananarama.
You are.
Yes, Bananarama. Like
Tell me, what makes you better than Haim? This is going to show your confidence.
We do synthwave.
Yeah,
you do synthwave. Okay, that's a great answer. That's perfect.
There we go.
Nice.
It ain't what to do with the way that to do it, and that's what gets results.
Rob's got a lot more flying through his head than I have, which is why I'm generally silent a lot more of the time.
Who are your role models then? Who did you look to? Female role models.
Theme of music or in general?
General. Yeah.
I'd say my grandmother and Lauren from Churches.
Oh, my queen. Forever.
What, Churches?
Honestly, we like Courtney won the meet and greet when we were like a couple of years ago on the second album tour. Oh my god, they're so lovely. There's like, you know when they say don't meet your heroes?
Lies.
They talked to everybody, talked about synths, we talked about girl power. She was so lovely.
Wicked.
She like stands up and she's such a pixie like little person. And she's got the biggest voice and the most brazen personality. She doesn't give a fuck, and I love that.
This will not be going out on the radio.
Guys, before we finish this off, I'm just curious to know that obviously being from Manchester, I was wondering if you've ever looked back and been fans of the Madchester scene, obviously the Hacienda, obviously in Spiral Carpets, Happy Mondays, and obviously the earlier days, New Order. I mean, obviously that's a different sound.
I'm a big fan of them.
Everything from the Hacienda, everything from Factory Records, love it all.
Have you seen 24-Hour Party People, the biopic?
I've read a few books about it as well. Like, I was really fascinated by the whole thing. I just thought, what a cool backstory for a city. Like, it's great.
Manchester is the best place in the world. It's just everything.
We're so blessed.
Everything is just the ethos, the people. The feel in the air, it's just great. I love it.
I might be about to divide your group into 1.5. United or City?
Ooh. Blackburn, innit? Blackburn Rovers. I'll have to say Burnley or else my boyfriend won't be happy.
Oh, crikey, okay.
Guys, look, we're running very short of time, but this is about the normal time that we would have on an interview at the radio station. So we have a really nice chat. Lovely to speak to you. I want to hear more. I want to see more. I'm super impressed by the 3 chats so far. And we're just going to watch this space, and hopefully, when we can all meet again in reality, come down to London and do us a gig.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would come to Manchester. There you go. I'll stop being so blooming London centric. Come up to Manchester and see you.
Well, there's that, and of course you can come in the studio. You know, we look to have as many guests as we possibly can. I mean, it's tiny, and you're going to not want to. This is going to come across a bit rude. Don't wear much. It's so hot in there.
Hang on now.
In the nicest way possible. But yeah, like on a serious note, we want to meet people like yourselves. It's all well and good, kind of trying to get interviews with them, the Midnight and Ollie Ride and whatnot. They've made their own.
We don't need them.
Stories. Exactly. you're the foundations to this scene still. So you're the important guys right now.
Guys,
Oh,
lovely
thank you
to
so
meet you.
much.
Consolation.
Thank you for your time. Enjoy your food.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Stay safe.
No, thank you.
Key
You
workers.
too. Take care. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
At the NHS.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.